In my last video for coaches, I shared about the pros of business coaching. This is the follow-up, the cons of business coaching. There are a few, and we'll review them in this video. I was a business coach for 10 years. Obviously, there were many pros to being a business coach. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it for so long. It was how I started my coaching career, and I'm proud of it. But there were some downsides to being a business coach that I want to share with you as you're considering, do you want to be an executive and leadership coach, a career coach, a business coach? As long as you're interested in being a professional coach, then this channel is for you. So what are the cons associated with business coaching? Well, the first one takes me all the way back to the time I started. And that was that I was essentially starting my coaching business from scratch. I knew insurance agent and a baby proofer at that time. Those were the only people in small business that I knew in my local community. Everyone else was in corporate jobs because that was the background that I had. When I left my last job and went into business coaching, I had 10 and a half years of experience at a software company. Prior to that, I worked at an event management company for 3 years. They had corporate clients. So everyone in my network was a corporate employee. As a business coach focused on my local community and small business owners, I didn't know anybody. So I had to go out there and network like crazy and start developing my fame in my local market as a leading business coach. That took some time. So keep this in mind. As a leadership and executive coach, you may be able to start gaining clients right away based on the strength of your corporate network, the relationships that you've built up and strengthened over years. As a business coach, you may start from zero and have to build up relationships from there. Obviously, there's time involved in doing that. So that could be a con. If you already know a lot of people in small business, you have strong connections, and you feel like you could immediately get business as a business coach, then maybe that's a plus for you as opposed to the minus it was for me. Okay, what's another con associated with business coaching? Well, this is probably the elephant in the room that we need to discuss, and that is that executive coaching tends to pay a lot more than business coaching. But I do have some caveats around that. Small business owners have access to free resources. There's the Small Business Development Center. There's SCORE. And there are other businesses, or I should say organizations, that are there to help small business owners be successful. Because you may have heard that small businesses form the backbone of the nation's economy. More people get their first jobs working for small businesses than in corporations. And much of the hiring in this country actually happens through small business. So we want small businesses to succeed in America, right? That's why there are these free entities that are there to support small businesses. Based on that, as a business coach, once I learned about this, I didn't want to work with brand new small businesses because I knew I'd then be competing against free resources that they had. But SCORE can work with a small business even when they're not in the startup phase. And it's the same for Small Business Development Center too. It just so happens that when businesses are starting up, they tend to look for support more than they do once they've gotten up and running. And they may not consider free resources and actually consider a business coach once they're up and running and have some degree of profitability. I had a rule that I only wanted to work with small businesses who were profitable and been in business for a few years. Those were my targets. And you may want to have similar targets if you're planning on business coaching. But still understand that access to other support entities will drive down prices of business coaching unless you have something really special to offer. What happens with business coaches often is that they have a proprietary process that they're putting out in the marketplace, and that's what small businesses are signing up for, to follow their proprietary process. That can lead to higher rates because you're not competing against other business coaches that don't have a proprietary process, or they do, but it's different than yours. So as a unique offering, you can generally price it higher. But still, the rates may not be what you would like them to be in comparison to executive coaching. So how do you get around that? Group coaching. In business coaching, group coaching is actually very common and very popular. What I recommend is that you consider the ladder concept, which is like this. At the base of the ladder, you may have a group program that's mostly on demand. It's a bunch of recorded sessions that members can access, and occasionally they may be able to get onto a live session with you. That would be the base of the ladder, most affordable. The next level would be something of a mastermind group where it's small groups, live sessions with you, leading them, and they also coach each other in a peer coaching format. I did that, and I also offered the top rung of the ladder, which is one-on-one coaching. When one-on-one coaching is the most exclusive rung in the ladder, then of course you can charge more for that because it seems so special. When you lead with one-on-one coaching, it doesn't seem as special, right? So consider that approach to get around the fact that sometimes earnings are lower for business coaches. The third con of business coaching is that you will always have to be out there networking and getting out in the community, meeting with business owners, probably getting involved in organizations. You want to become embedded in the community, and that takes extra time. I joined 4 different chambers of commerce. I joined the board of a nonprofit. I joined a service organization and a referral club. I was in 7 different organizations at the same time. That's not just a lot of email coming in. That's a lot of demands for your actual time outside of your home. So keep in mind that there could be pressures on you time-wise as a business coach to stay connected with the local community out there, strengthening relationships, building new relationships. So that can also be a con. Generally, executive coaches don't need to go out in the community and network that much because much of our work as executive coaches is actually done virtually online, and it's global. I have clients in international places as well as across the country. So that means that I can't really network. I mean, if I have a client in Canada or a client in Australia or a client in Europe, I can't network and meet new clients in those countries, right? Even in America, I have them spread out all across the country, so I can't really network. I attend online sessions at times, but it's not really networking, it's more learning. So your time may not be as flexible as a business coach as it is as an executive coach. So that's something else to keep in mind. And then the last con that I want to share with you is an interesting one that you may not consider a con. If you want to do pure coaching, I often talk about credentialing paths on this channel to the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. And many executive coaches do go down that path and become an ACC, PCC, which is what I am now, or an MCC, which is something I'm working towards. In business coaching, your coaching credential is not as important. They care more about your experience, your background, a sense of connection with you. And so the credentialing may not be important, and neither is the pure coaching. If what you want to do is the ICF definition of coaching, which is open-ended questions, generating solutions ideally from your client, not leading them, not directing them, not offering lots of suggestions, talking a lot less than they do, really pure coaching, awakening growth and discovery, evoking new awareness in your client. These are all positive aspects of coaching. But in business coaching, it's more coach-salting. People who own businesses know what they don't know, and they want to know what you know that they don't know, especially if they know that you work with other small business owners. You follow me? So if you're not prepared to offer some consulting along with your coaching, you might find yourself ill-equipped to succeed as a business coach. So you do have to consider that. And as we wrap up, I do want to share what also might be con number 5, which you might not consider a con at all, just like con number 4. And that is that you may want to enter into personal relationships with your clients. I read that in the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, many years ago by Chet Holmes. And I made an active effort to get to know my clients personally. That helps with retention and referrals. But you may not want to do that. You may not want to get intertwined into the personal lives of your clients. As an executive coach, you generally don't. You generally only get to know them on a professional level. Rarely do you get to know them personally. So that may be a drawback for you, or you might like it. So it's up to you to decide if that's a pro or a con. So there you have it, 5 potential cons of business coaching, including the elephant in the room, but I shared with you how to get around that. I hope this video is helpful to you as you consider, do you want to be an executive coach, a business coach, or possibly a career coach, which I'll talk about in the future. If you'd like more information and help along the way as you're beginning your coaching career, consider following my company page on LinkedIn. Look for Bay Area Executive Coach on LinkedIn and follow that page. You'll see that I share resources each week, primarily for executive coaches, but often for other types of coaches as well, as long as the focus is professional. And to go really deep with me and going beyond free resources now, consider enrolling in the Center for Executive Coaching, where I'm a faculty member. I teach online classes each week. I lead mentor coaching programs each year, and I also run a few in-person seminars. So you can learn with me all throughout the year when you enroll with the Center for Executive Coaching, along with the founder and other faculty members who are all there to help you to become one of the world's best executive coaches. And we also have material on career coaching and business coaching. So go to the centerforexecutivecoaching.com, look at the options there, email me at michael@bayareaexecutivecoach.com if you'd like to talk more about it, or you can go to my blog site for coaches, bayareaexecutivecoachtraining.com, and actually schedule time right on my calendar. And we'll talk about our training options and how you can go further, faster, and develop yourself as one of the world's leading executive coaches. Thank you very much.